Hi guys. Today I wanted to talk to you about an interesting topic. Last week was a little bit fun about Zelda. Today's a little bit more on thoughts on something else. My thoughts on the DLC market right now. It's interesting because DLC has gone through a lot of ups and downs. So we've had a lot of good DLC, we've had a lot of bad DLC, we've had a lot of companies take advantage of it, over advantage. We have a lot who have done really well with it. Um, Admittedly, not everybody's good at it and not everybody's bad at it. But I've noticed a lot of big games, and these are titles that are actually good games out of the box, that are being plagued by DLC styles and DLC practices that are just totally terrible practices. For example, Mortal Kombat. The game is fantastic. I got it launch day. I'm loving the game so much. Combat's great, characters are great, the story is fun. I'm loving it. But I mean, the fact is, gameplay aside and game production values aside, the DLC part of it's terrible. Okay, they have a season pass again with 4 characters. They did that last time too. Fine, I can deal with that. The fact that they've announced all 4 characters kind of fishy. Like, okay, like you already know what you're going to make. So couldn't you have probably included it in the game? Like, it seems kind of fishy. Like, DLC is supposed to be an expansion of content that these companies come up with after the game is done being developed. If you already know exactly what DLC you're going to make before the fact, then that's taking advantage of the situation. So that I'm not too happy with. Um, the fact that they are offering one is fine, but the fact that it's obvious that they plan it, and for all I know, they probably already have the characters done and ready to go, and they're just going to do it on a release schedule. That's terrible. They should have included it in the game if that were the case. Um, but fact is, the game as it stands is still great. But that's not even the big issue. That I can deal with. The issue is with the other DLC. Like, okay, I can pay for easy fatalities. Granted, the fatalities are already easy enough to do now compared to what they used to be. But okay, I can pay for simple fatalities. Okay, let me put this into perspective. For me personally, from a gameplay perspective, I don't care. Because realistically, you have to have won the fight in order to be able to use fatalities anyway, so it's all for showiness. So that's not a big deal either. That's like, okay, for the casual players that don't really know how to do fatalities or don't want to deal with figuring out how to memorize them, they got an easy way out. Okay, that's cool. So even that's not too big of a deal. What's killing me is a crypt thing. So you can pay, if you want, you can pay money to get everything unlocked as soon as the game is launched. Now, there's 2 perspectives on this. One is, okay, there's people that want to get it just for competitive play, so out of the box, they'll get that, and then they'll have everything unlocked, so they can just jump into the game and play competitively online or with friends or local tournaments, whatever, or practice for tournaments. They don't have to worry about grinding to do things. That's fine, that makes sense. But the problem I see with that is, on the other hand, it kind of it's demeaning to the game. You look at the game and the crypt is actually pretty cool. The way they set it up is so much nicer than what it used to be. It's actually fun to interact with. It's a fun place to be. It's pretty cool. And I actually am inspired to get more coins so that I can go back and keep buying stuff, because like they have little surprise environments. You get to explore the environments in first person view. It's neat. So that's weird. Like they build this really cool feature, and then they're saying, but if you don't want it, just pay us, and then we'll let you unlock it. You don't even have to see the feature. So that's, in that way, it's just like, okay, we made this thing, but we know it's a piece of junk, and we know it's stupid, so we don't really feel like people are justified in using it. It's having it as a part of the game, so people can just buy it so that they don't have to deal with it. That's a message I get from them. Even though I know it's a good feature, it's a really cool feature, and I really love the crypt as it is now. The message they send by allowing us to buy something like that is preposterous for their what they're saying about their own product. So that's my problem with the DLC. Overall, the DLC isn't that bad. My only complaint is the fact that they've already pretty much probably finished the characters. But everything else, the concept of it is okay. It's just the way it's presented, I think, is terrible. Um, but that's not even one of the bigger complaints. One that's really killing me was Evolve. Um, there was a time in gaming when we used to be able to work for our stuff. We used to be able to play the game like GoldenEye. You know, you play the game, you do really well in a level, and you unlock a cheat code, big head mode or whatever. You know, you actually content was full and rich within the game, not just main content but side content. Now it's come to the point where you just pay beyond full price. It's $60 instead of $50 like it used to be. You pay full price for a video game, and then you have to pay extra for extra content that I would have been able to get in my old games. And it's kind of sad because there's a lot of really good new games that have come out in the last couple of years, but I found myself going back to play older games a lot lately because I feel cheated. So what happens is I wait until these newer games go down to a sale. They have full packages from significantly cheaper. Like I got Borderlands 1 and 2 complete editions for like $20 with all the DLC. I'm okay with that. I got Civ 5 complete edition with all of the DLC for like $5. I'm okay with that because I didn't want to spend all this extra for stuff that should have been in the game to begin with. Full expansions, I'm okay with. That's one thing I respect out of the guys who make Civilization. Brave New World and Gods and Kings were actually great expansions. I didn't mind paying full prices for those. But for the actual DLCs, like the mini DLCs they're adding, no, that's ridiculous. So it's like little things like that that should be in the game that they're just kind of milking in order to release it. So DLC has always been a shaky bridge and difficult to cross in the right way. I mean, look at the horse armor incident, the original DLC fiasco. You know, something that we shouldn't have had to pay for to get. It's really silly, you know, especially at that time. It was just really stupid. But I mean, the point is, DLC, it can go either way. And I feel like it's really some companies do really well with it, like, and some companies go half and half, and some companies just abuse it. Like Titanfall, for example. I felt like Titanfall, for the price I was paying, was pretty complete as a game. You may or may not agree on how good or bad the game was, but as far as content-wise goes, there was a good amount of maps, there was a good amount of content. I didn't mind it at all. The DLC packs were 3 map packs for a reasonable price. They were actually good maps. I liked the new maps. And they had a lot of free updates with extra content as well over time. So they had a really good model going. I liked that a lot. Like I said, whether you like the game or not is irrelevant to the point that they actually handle the DLC structure wisely and well. Call of Duty, actually, not a series I'm a fan of normally, but Call of Duty used to do the same thing. They had a pretty good structure. They had a really good base game, like Modern Warfare 2. Really good base game. As far as content goes. And then they had reasonable map packs that came out. Now it's gotten to the point where they have the map packs, which is still fine, but they have all this extra junk that you can buy. Battlefield's gone that road too. I haven't played Battlefield 3. I was really disappointed with because they did that. I haven't played Battlefield since. I tried Battlefield 4. The same problem was there. I didn't like it. I tried Battlefield Hardline. Same problems there, so I didn't like it. So I don't want to bother with it. Battlefield 2 was the last one I truly enjoyed because they didn't abuse us like that. I know the Bad Company games were probably really good too, but as a PC gamer, I didn't really play them because I knew their consoles games ported onto the PC. Now I don't think like that. I don't really care. But back then, that's how I thought. So point being, and then there's other companies like BioWare, for example. I feel like they do DLC right. All their multiplayer DLC is free for their games, and their single player DLC is what you pay for. Yeah, you can pay for extra content or extra unlocks, but you never need to. Like, I played multiplayer extensively in Mass Effect 3. Never felt the need to spend extra money. Hearthstone is another example. Free-to-play game. I've bought only the adventure packs. So basically the expansions for the adventure modes. Haven't spent a single other penny on it. I've told people I've spent a lot, but I haven't. I actually haven't spent any money on Hearthstone. Because you can get it all through unlocking. And as you play and gain skill, you'll get the cards as you go. So you don't really need to to spend money. If you spend money right off the bat, it's actually kind of overwhelming. So I actually don't even recommend spending money on it. So I bought the expansions, single-player expansions, and that's it, because I wanted them right away. I could have paid with those 2 coins too, in-game currency, but I wanted it right away. So another example of a game that actually does DLC and in-game purchases properly. So like I said, it goes both ways though. There's also all the bad ones. Evolve is an issue, for example. I think I mentioned it earlier, but I didn't elaborate. So they have some pretty good DLC options, but they really were confusing about the way they presented how they were going to give the DLC. Because they kind of hinted that all the relevant DLC was going to be free, but it's not. Like characters and monsters you still have to pay for, but the map packs are free. Like it's kind of weird the way they presented it. Like I guess they explained it weird. Maybe this is what they meant all along, but they didn't really make it clear. That I think that was a problem. But that's not even the issue. The issue is all of the extra unlockables and aesthetic things that you can unlock. That's ridiculous. You have to pay so much money for all this stuff. Once again, like I said, you should be able to unlock just through gameplay, by leveling up, by ranking. Why do I have to pay extra for this stuff? It's stupid. And I don't support this at all. Like Smash Brothers is doing it as well now. I'm not going to pay a penny for it. Because I think it's ridiculous and we shouldn't be supporting that kind of behavior. Especially with Nintendo, who's actually done a really good job with DLC so far. They're starting to go into that ditch. We should not support them in that, so that they know we don't like that, so that they won't do it again. But that's my thoughts. What are your thoughts on DLC? Do you like it? Are you okay with where it goes, where it's going, and where it might go? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys around. Take care.